Hi, thanks for joining me live. We are talking this week about the quality of the foods we eat. So, I just want to do a quick recap. I have been speaking all week on why this matters to me and three areas that I really think if you focus on changing the food you eat, you'll really improve your health. So, why is this a huge deal to me? Well, I'm a mom and a grandma, and I'm a doctor, and I see in my office people coming through and they're suffering and struggling with these problems that can be solved and made better by just changing the food that they're consuming and getting higher quality, better foods. And there are really three areas, and I spent a lot of time on each one of these earlier in the week. But just a quick recap, I think there are three huge opportunities to make yourself healthy by looking at the food you're consuming. One is to weed out genetically modified foods from your diet. And I shared a little story about how I realized that my dark chocolate was being genetically modified, and it made me so sad. And I had to find a new way to eat dark chocolate. So you can look for the non GMO labels, you can look for the organic labels, you can eating non-processed foods that you know the source of is always going to be a home run in this department. So maybe that's getting to know your farmers, your ranchers, those kinds of things. It helps a lot. But we're looking at avoiding genetically modified foods. That's a big deal. If you read a label on the back of a package where the nutrition is and it says contains bioengineered ingredients, I think it's time to slam the door on that and be out of here on that. um, and then the second thing is, let's talk about meat quality. That is, there's a lot of documentaries out there that you can look at that kind of chronicle how um, meats are produced and raised, and some of them will just make you want to cry and throw up. And coming through the office here, our local practice, we have talked to some farmers that have been involved in commercial poultry and other kinds of farming practices, and they're just it's not good. So what you're going to want to do is source meats that come from, maybe it's a farmer's market, maybe it's you can go to a health food store, or even some of the bigger chain stores have good stuff, and you can just look at the company and you can go and research what how they do their meat and read about that and see if you're comfortable with it. You'll definitely want to switch to something like a grass-fed beef if you're doing beef, um, organic poultry, organic eggs. Those kinds of things are really good. It switches your meat from being inflammatory if it's all commercially done and it's feeding on grain products and things like that, to it now becomes grass fed and it's out eating bugs if it's a chicken and doing stuff like that, to now it's an anti-inflammatory versus an inflammatory thing. And that is one of the ways that we can cut down on inflammation, which drives health problems and chronic disease. And then the third thing is those seed oils, hot, partially hydrogenated, fill in the blank. Um, we've got uh, those turn into a trans fat. That's the danger with those. But things like cottonseed oil or soybean oil, vegetable oil, all those again are inflammatory. So we want to stay away from those as much as we can, and move into eating things like coconut oils, avocado, using flax seeds, maybe grass-fed butter if you can tolerate dairy, olive oil, those kinds of good, healthy fats instead of those other ones that are pro-inflammatory, highly processed, and really change the makeup of the cell. I have a blog and a podcast, and I talked in more detail on both of those. You can check out. I have a link bio in the comment section here where all that lives, all those sources, and also something called a Discovery Health Call. If you are listening and you have a question that is specific to you and you don't feel comfortable sharing on a live, you can connect with me on that and I will listen and help. So thank you so much for joining me today, and we will see you next week.